am I to bear it when you are gone?
I'm going only half a mile, Emma.
The great is the difference between a Mrs. Weston half a mile away and a Miss Taylor in the house.
Dear Emma.
You have been a friend and companion such as few possess. A governess in office, but little short of a mother in affection. I wish you every happiness on your wedding day.
Poor Miss Taylor! It's a pity Mr. Weston ever thought of it.
Papa, Mr. Weston is such a good-humoured, pleasant, excellent man. He thoroughly deserves a good wife. And you would not have had Miss Taylor live with us forever when she might have had a house of her own.
A house of her own. Where is the advantage of a house of her own? This is 3 times as low. It's entirely unnecessary. Poor Miss Taylor. Poor Isabella.
My sister married 7 years ago, Papa. You must be reconciled to it by now.
That was a terrible day.
It shall always be a matter of great joy to me that I made the match myself. Everyone said Mr. Weston would never marry again, but I did not believe it.
Emma, you should not make matches or foretell things. Whatever you say always comes to pass. You must not make any more.
I promised to make none for myself, Papa. But I must indeed for other people. It is the greatest amusement in the world. And after such success, you know. Miss Bates, Mrs. Bates, Miss Gilbert, Mrs. Cox.
Mr. Woodhouse, sir? Miss Woodhouse?
Mr. Cole, Mrs. Cole.
Miss Woodhouse. Morning. Is this not the most happy, the most fortunate? This morning, I could not get my bonnet on for trembling. Surrounded by blessings. Wanting for nothing. I am trembling again. It's too joyful.
What is it, Emma?
I have a fancy that Mr. Weston's son may surprise us.
Frank Weston?
He's Frank Churchill now, Papa. He's his uncle's heir. When he came of age, he took his uncle's name. I so long to meet him.
But how do you know he might surprise us?
It is his father's wedding day. Mr. Weston speaks of him so highly. Cannot doubt that he will come.
Poor Miss Taylor.
Dearly beloved friends, we gather here in the sight of God to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony, an honorable estate instituted by God in this time of man's great innocence.
Innocence? Innocence? No?
Mother, you must eat. It is impolite not to eat.
about to say, sir.
Why do you keep a carriage if you never put it out?
It's just such a shame to see it standing by. A gentleman on foot, it's
Unusual.
unusual.
Good evening, Mrs. Reynolds.
At last, Mr. Knightley. You must have had a shocking walk.
Not at all, sir. It's a beautiful evening.
You must have found it very damp and dirty.
Dirty, sir. Look at my shoes. Not a speck on them. How do you do? I came to wish you joy.
Joy? Oh, the wedding. It's a terrible day.
So how did you all behave? Who cried the most?
We all behaved charmingly. Everybody was in their best looks. Not a tear, and hardly a long face to be seen.
Bring the screen a little closer. Mr. Knightley feels a chill.
And what of Mr. Frank Churchill? Is he every bit as handsome as his father promised he would be? He did not come.
You see, he wished exceedingly to come, but his aunt and uncle could not spare him.
Well, I dare say he might have come if he could.
I do not know why you should say so.
If Frank Churchill had wanted to attend his father's wedding, he would have contrived it. He chose not to come.
We have never met Mr. Frank Churchill. We do not know what he is able or unable to do.
There is one thing, Emma, which a man can always do if he chooses, and that is his duty. It is Frank Churchill's duty to pay this attention to his father.
He also has a duty to his aunt who is unwell.
Mrs. Churchill has been unwell for as long as she could say so. Her nephew is not a doctor. If he had told her simply and resolutely that he must attend his father's wedding, there would have been no opposition to his going.
You are the worst judge in the world, Mr. Knightley, of the difficulties of dependence. You've always been your own master. You have no idea what it is to have tempers to manage.
I shall remember that next time you quarrel with me.